I guess you really want to find out what fries my eggs this week. And I was actually having a good week up until about Saturday, and I really was struggling to find a couple of subjects, but man, there were two things that hit me in the head that I just have to get off of my chest. The first one, my co-host on the Monday Night Sports Talk show, Bob Lazari, who works in a school in upstate Connecticut, was telling me about a class he was covering concerning the election. This was on election day, and there were 17 seventh graders in the class. And those of you in Connecticut know we had a very hotly disputed gubernatorial election. And Bob had gone to the class along with another teacher and said, okay, who are the people running and what parties do they represent? How many seventh graders actually knew? Well, only 3 knew the political parties, and none of them knew the people that were running. And I thought to myself, this is terrible. In those days, we were having mock elections. We knew who was running. We wished we could have voted, and we didn't, obviously, because we were too young. And when I began to study it, I came across something known as civic ignorance. This is actually a concept with young people, who they can tell you who is on what show doing what thing, who's singing on American Idol, or who's doing this or who's doing that, but they can't tell you who the Vice President of the United States is. Doing a little reading, the National Assessment of Educational Progress came out with a report not long ago saying fewer than half of American 8th graders knew the purpose of the Bill of Rights, and only 1 in 10 demonstrated acceptable knowledge of the checks and balances among the legislative, executive, and judicial branches, according to test results. Folks, this is a terrible thing, and you think that's bad? This gets worse. We're about to show you snippets from a tape taken at Texas Tech University, a college in the United States, a large college, and look at the answers. These are people that graduated high school, they're in college. Look at the answers to some of the questions you're seeing. Frankly, this puts me on the floor. Mark, please roll the tape.
Who won the Civil War?
Who won the Civil War?
We did? The South?
Like the one in 1965, or what Civil War?
Who won it? Who was even in it? Who was in it? Just tell me who was in it.
Ooh, I don't know. Why you make me do this?
Who won the Civil War?
Yeah. Oh my God. Hey, I'm drawing a blank. It's one of those things. I feel like I'm on the Jimmy Kimmel show.
America? I don't know.
That's the Confederates, right?
I have no clue.
The Union. The North.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So who is our vice president?
Don't know. I have no idea. Of right now? I don't know.
What's his name? Oh my gosh. I have his name in I have his face in my head.
Who is the vice president? Is that like a trick question?
Nope.
Okay. I don't know.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Don't know.
Joe Biden. Yes.
I don't know.
You're not the only one. A lot of people don't know.
Folks, you can't make this stuff up. Now, if it were me, I would go to them and say, okay, guys, what color was Washington's white horse? This is beyond terrible. And these people somehow got through high school and on to college. Assumedly, they had some history, and it's a problem. You can laugh, you can joke, you can giggle, it looks funny, but this is the future of America, and we are a free country. On this Veterans Day, we are here as free people because of the sacrifice of others, and this is how we treat our freedoms. It is not a good situation, and I'm going to be paying more attention to this. I think you should too. I think if you have children, I think you really should tell them about the importance of the right to vote and how they belong to this process in this country. Next up, I, maybe like you, was hearing the reports about the General Motors Corporation and the whole issue about the bad ignition switches and how This is a terrible mistake, say the corporate pronouncements, and we're going to fix it, and we regret all the terrible things we've done. And General Motors about a year ago had elected Mary Barra to be their president and their leader, or their CEO, and Mark has a picture of, and Mark and Abby have a picture of Mary Barra that they're going to show you. I mean, actually, the look on her face kind of says it all. She goes before Congress and she has a perfect spiel of, you know, we're sorry, the dog ate my homework. Honey, I left the kids on the corner 3 days in a row. I'm going to do better, and I pledge to do better. And frankly, it gets a little bit tiring after a while, because these were cars that were put out that literally were death traps. Yesterday, it turned out that the whole case of the congressional statement, if you will, was General Motors coming and saying, we had no idea any of this was happening. However, an email report had come out saying that 500,000 ignition switches were ordered as replacements for the troubled cars well in advance of Ms. Barra's statement. So the question is, did she perjure herself before Congress? The last person that I know that perjured him or herself before Congress was Roger Clemens, who of course never used an illegal substance, but that was maybe not something as akin to or as troubling as putting out troubled vehicles that really can either hurt or kill someone. But if you follow the timeline, on January 7th, another email from the same contractor said that GM ordered 709,000 of the replacement ignition switches on a rush basis. Mary Barra, who's now the head of the company, has no idea any of this is happening, at least she tells Congress. January 15th, she officially assumes the title of CEO. She's been with this company now for 45 years. You know, the success story, she started way at the bottom. January 31st, she testifies before Congress that she and other top GM executives first learned about the need for a recall on January 31st. So it's the age-old question, are you incompetent or are you fraudulent? Whichever one you want to choose, neither is good. February 7th, GM notified the regulators about the issue with the cars and ordered 778,000 switches. And on February 14th, the public was finally notified. And this fries my eggs, because these are cars that people rely on every single day, and if you're driving near one of these cars that may go off of the road and you had absolutely nothing to purchase, it is a huge public safety issue. And I'm not terribly hopeful anything's going to be done in government or in Congress with this, because the government was such a large investor in GM to save GM when it went out of business the first time, and I don't know if it looks like it's going to go out of business again. It's just it's a terrible situation. So it's Mary Barra and GM, you do fry my eggs. And with that, we're going to have a lot of fun coming back with some old football tapes with a great quarterback, Joe Namath, quarterback of my era. We'll see you back here on Connecticut Morning, back in a bit.